What is up? Welcome to Talking Touchdowns, brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm your host, Astaire, back again with Kurt and Tyler. We crushed the NBA last night. I was telling you right before we started, the lineup we created was good enough to double up for me, and I'm sure it helped many people watching as well. But now we're switching hats. We're jumping over to the National Football League. We're going to give out winners on the sides, totals, and props, and then, of course, give everyone's targets and fades for each one of these games. Tyler, I didn't really think it was a good football game last night. I'll be honest, I had more eyes on the NBA. It wasn't really too exciting, basically just because of how many points the Saints gave up right before half and kind of put the game away. But what were your takeaways from Kyler Murray actually getting the win with DeAndre Hopkins back in the lineup?
Yeah, I mean, I don't take much from it. Just like you had more eyes on the basketball game. I mean, it's a Thursday night game. We've seen how bad the last couple were, and this one finally put up points. But, I mean, the Cardinals got the job done. They beat the team they should have. The Saints are so beat up, so I don't take much from it. They should have won that game.
Kurt, is there anything that we're missing? What did your educated eyes see watching that Thursday night game last night?
I started getting a little bit sick, so I didn't make it past halftime. I tried to, but It was a wacky game, man. I woke up. I usually do my 4 a.m. I fall asleep, wake up, and see kind of what happened. And the next day, I like to kind of go back and do all NFL 22 and see what I missed. But wacky game. Everyone was complaining about how low scoring Thursdays are, and then I feel like the NFL trolled. Well, not on purpose, but we got trolled with that kind of game. So better than nothing, better than the low scoring crap we've been getting. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at least the low-scoring games are close and competitive at the end of the game. But enough of that game last night, and congratulations to the Arizona Cardinals and the people that backed the Arizona Cardinals. Felt pretty good about our playbook projections. Once again, if you're not a member of Run Pure Sports, head on over, check out the NFL Bets playbook where you can find our detailed breakdowns of each one of these games. But we're going to give you a preview, a little snippet of each one of those thoughts tonight or this morning. This afternoon, depending on where you are. The Detroit Lions are +7 heading to Dallas, taking on the Cowboys. Total of 49, +256 if you want to get feisty on that money line. Tyler, usually when we bet an underdog, we want them to have a chance to win straight up. But the Lions are one of those teams that just loses and covers. They just lose and cover. I don't know. Do you have for sure? When we talked on Wednesday on the Wishbone, they were telling me they expected Dak to be back. If that's the case, how does that change your handicap for this game, and how are you approaching the Detroit Lions catching 7 in Dallas?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to start this game. They already reported that. I'm still going to be on the Lions, though. I mean, we seen last week that Dallas pass rush kind of got negated by a good offensive line being able to slow them down. And Detroit's got a very good offensive line. They might be able to slow this team down, give Goff a ton of chances to throw it down the field, and also open up holes for them to run the ball. So I think they can keep it within a touchdown.
All right, Kurt. Tyler wants to take the points with Detroit as they have been monsters against the spread over the last couple of years under Dan Campbell. What are your thoughts?
I agree with everything he said. Talking up offensive line, as a former offensive lineman, I love to see that. That's what they have. And I feel like obviously Cowboys are sure going to get there, but when you're able to kind of supplement what the Cowboys' greatest strength, that's enough for me to say, you know what, give me the points. Hopefully people talk up Dak being back and how they're going to route the Lions. But yeah, I'm going to be with Tyler here. Give me the Lions with the points, baby, in the trenches.
How do you think Dak coming back helps this team from a DFS perspective, or hurts this team?
Definitely doesn't hurt them. I guess helps the running game. The read option, you have to respect him a lot more than you have to respect what's his name. So yeah, I guess the running game more, and then the passing game maybe just more fixated targets for Schultz.
All right. Tyler, who are you going to target and who are you going to fade in this game if we're looking at DFS lineups?
I mean, I haven't looked much into the NFL with DFS. I've been more into the NBA. But, I mean, maybe get some CD, some Amon St. Brown, maybe fade some Zeke.
All right. Do you have props for this game?
That I don't have either. I'll be doing the props tomorrow spread.
All right.
I already got some.
Okay, Kurt's got some. Let me give you some stats, and then you can give those out. Detroit 10-4 ATS in their last 14 games, and Detroit has gone over in 6 of their last 7 games. So let's see if the trend continues. Detroit's been covering, and these games have been going over. Kurt, what props do you have for me?
Assuming Schultz is healthy, I don't have the practice report from this week, but his boy Dak is back over 31.5 versus this team that likes to get gouged by the pass. Give me Schultz to get like 50 receiving yards. I'll do an alt line for that.
Schultz over 50 receiving yards. There you
His
have it.
His line right now is 31.5. I'll take the alt when it comes out, assuming he's healthy.
All right. Do we have anything more on the Lions and the Cowboys before we move on?
That's it for me.
All right.
Should be good. I like the over. I'll take the over on that game for sure.
Yeah, and it's getting steamed down too here. It's 49 now. Lions taking a little bit of money. It's minus 120 on the +7 over at Bookmaker. But I'm not surprised by that, right? I mean, it's like Pavlovian, right? You bet the Lions, they cover the spread, you win money. Why would you not want to keep doing that? Let's talk about a game that I think this is an interesting line. This, to me, is an interesting line. The New York Giants are 5-1. The Jacksonville Jaguars are 2-4. But the Jacksonville Jaguars are -3 at home in a game with a total of 43.5. Talk to me, Tyler. I don't get why the Jaguars are favored. I know you're down on the Giants, so this is feeding right into your wheelhouse here. But still, this Jaguars team laying 3, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm down on the Giants just because I just think they're the luckiest team in the NFL. I'm not going to sit here and either fade this team or back this team because I'm tired of watching money get burned down the drain when they have some lucky play come in the fourth quarter that wins them a game. So if I had to pick a side here, it'd probably be the Giants, but I just can't put my money on them because the moment I do, I know they're going to lay a dud. So I feel like they should be able to run the ball against the Jags. Their defensive pass rush should be able to get to Lawrence, but I'm staying away from it.
Yeah. And the Giants have been an under team, Kurt. The total's gone under in 13 of the New York Giants' last 17 games. But the Giants are also 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 games against Jacksonville. They're also 2-7 in their last 9 road games. Your thoughts on the Giants and the Jaguars?
Might be a little tease spot for me here. I wouldn't mind tease up 3.5. I think the game stays close. The Giants got Wan'Dale Robinson back last week. Kid looked good. Looked healthy. I know they're going to probably still monitor his snaps a little bit. I hit the luckiest bet of my life last week. I didn't know he was on a really, really strict snap count. I figured he would be one, not that strict. I luck boxed and got a touchdown from him at +350. Felt like a really big donkey for just hitting that. But it gives them a whole other option, you know. Like, I mean, there's 5-yard routes. He can get 5 yards. 5 yards. Move the chains. Keep the game close. Give me 3.5 of the teaser.
All right. DJ says Giants defense looked good against Lamar. They've looked good against everyone. We have to give Wink Martindale his credit because we didn't think that was an outstanding unit when we looked at the roster. But he's definitely made things work there. Man, you know I like the Jaguars. I want to root for the Jaguars. It just seems it might be a little bit too early for this team. And I know Doug Peterson wanted to have that start that Brian Daboll had because they're feeling so good in New York. But at 2-4, some questions circling around that Jaguars roster. Tyler, I know you haven't looked, but just off the top of your head, who would you target and who would you fade in this game for DFS? You're muted.
Yeah, I mean, probably just play Barkley and fade some of those Jags pass catchers would be my guess.
All right, no Christian Kirk. Kurt, how are you going to go ahead and approach this game from a DFS perspective?
You definitely want to be careful with your exposures because I think it will be a low-scoring game. But Travis Etienne, I've been playing him all year. He averaged 8.6 yards a carry last week. I know the Giants are a stout defense, but he can also catch the ball and get there for you. He's only $5,400. James Robinson's still $500 more. I will be having some Travis Etienne exposure this week.
You know, it's funny because I've been playing a lot of James Robinson, but I feel like it's time to switch. I feel like they were using the veteran early, letting Etienne get worked in. It's essentially his rookie season, but he's more explosive. He's more versatile with his ability to catch passes, and then we'll see if we believe him. But Doug Peterson has said that in order for this offense to work, they're going to need to get him more involved overall. I think, say, 2-3 weeks, those prices are going to be flip-flopped. So let's take advantage of that now. I'm high on Etienne. Kurt, did you have any props for this game?
They don't have many up. It's very bare right now, so I might have to wait till Sunday. I don't know maybe it's the injury news for Tony and stuff like that, but I mean, I can't even get receiving props on any of the running backs. So
really, yeah, that's a big surprise here because I haven't seen a lot of line movement that would indicate there's a lot of injury news here.
I have 3 receiving props, and it's Kirk, Ingram, and Jones. That's all I got. So,
okay. And you don't like any of those, right?
Not particularly. Not in this low-scoring game.
All right, let's talk about the game featuring the only two teams with winning records facing each other. That's the Indianapolis Colts traveling to Tennessee to take on the Titans. Tyler, this AFC South, it seems like they all beat each other on the road. Indianapolis is 8-2 in their last 10 in Tennessee, but matchup-wise, this feels like a great matchup for the Tennessee Titans. We know that Matt Ryan can't handle the pressure, and I do believe that Mike Vrabel, coming off a bye, will be able to get pressure with that excellent defensive line of the Titans. Trends say the Colts. My mind says the Titans. Where do you land?
Yeah, I'm going to be on the Titans here. Give me the better coach, the better running back, because it's all those teams come down to is they're just going to be running the ball. The quarterbacks stink in this matchup. The Colts defense is pretty banged up. And the Titans off a bye have been a monster these last couple of years. Spread Vrabel knows this game basically wins the division. So he's going to go out and make sure his guys get the job done. Give me Tennessee here. I think they win the game.
All right. Kurt, he's saying, screw those trends. Trends are overrated. Let's just break down the football analysis. How are you approaching this one?
I'm going the same way. Off the bye, the Colts are kind of playing above their head a little bit. Deion Jackson's balling. Taylor comes back. Maybe I hate to say it. I feel bad for the guy. He comes back, and I think they're going to lose. But, yeah, give me the Titans here at home. Give me Derrick Henry to score 2 tutters.
Two
of them things. And a win. I wish I could do that. Henry, 2 tutters.
What do you think about the go ahead.
I feel so bad for Shaq Barrett or whatever the hell he freaking calls himself these days. I mean, the guy
Shaquille Leonard.
Shaquille Leonard, yeah, sorry. I'm talking about my boy Barrett from Tampa.
Yeah, from Tampa.
Well, he freaking changed his name to whatever it is. But Leonard, yeah, he comes back, he automatically gets hurt again. Must be made of glass or concussion. But, I mean, he's the heart and soul of that defense, man. You take him away, you can definitely gouge this team. So I'm going to go Titans side.
Well, he's going to be expected to play. Let's see if he makes it.
How many plays let me see what snaps he can get first. Jesus.
Yeah. The Colts have had one of the weakest offenses in the NFL. The total's gone under in 10 of the last 11 games. Tyler, this game's sitting at 41.5. We're going against the trend as far as taking Tennessee at home. Do we go with the trend and play this under, or do you think? I mean, 41.5 is pretty low. What do you think?
Yeah, it's pretty low, and it's like right in that sweet spot where I can see it fall right on that number, so I'm going to stay away from it.
All right. What do you think, Kurt? How are we approaching this one as far as the total? Do you like a side on the total?
I don't like taking under
a bet.
I don't like taking unders, period. And then when they're this low, it's like I'm instead of betting that, I'll just fade it.
Okay, just completely fading that. Anything more on the Colts and the Titans here? How do we approach this? Is Derrick Henry priced too much? I know you like him to get 2 touchdowns. Seems like he would pay off at what, 8,200?
Yeah, 8,200. Been like still involved in the passing game a little bit more than what we're used to. So I have no issue going Derrick Henry here. I'm not done a complete build yet, but last 3 weeks, 2 catches, 3 catches, 5 catches. That's better than the 0-0 he had the first 2 weeks. So definitely interested in Derrick Henry here at 8,200. All
right. Any other players I should be targeting here? I want to keep building off this winning streak we've created working with you on the show.
Alec Pierce is 46. Maybe if they're coming from behind. 7 targets last week, 9 targets, 6 targets, 5 targets. I don't mind Alec Pierce. Does seem the price is getting up there, but until he's 5K in a script, I think they'll be down. I think he could get peppered a little bit with targets.
All right, so you're liking Derrick Henry and Alec Pierce. How about Pittman? Is he worth the spend up there?
I don't play Pittman anymore. 7,400.
Never? No,
not in this low total game. Not in a low total game like this.
Okay, sounds like a plan. Anything more on this one, Tyler, before we move on?
No, that's it for me on that one.
All right, let's move to the next game on the schedule. The Atlanta Falcons, 6-0 against the spread so far this season. Can they make it 7 in Cincinnati, taking on the Bengals, who seem to have found life? Maybe all they needed was a trip to Louisiana, to their old stomping grounds, to find some life here. But as we saw last night, maybe getting a win over the Saints isn't that big a deal. Total of 47. Falcons are a plus 222 on the money line. I'll tell you what, Tyler, I think the Falcons continue their ATS streak. I don't know if the Bengals are ready to blow anyone out. I don't know if they have the defense to stop the way that Atlanta likes to run the ball. I like what Arthur Smith's doing. They have plenty of weapons. Mariota's proven to be a serviceable quarterback. And I think this defense can do okay, even against the excellent weapons that the Cincinnati Bengals have. I think his name is A.J. Terrell, the cornerback for the Atlanta Falcons, has been excellent against number 1 receivers so far. When you're looking at all the fantasy numbers, when you're targeting against the Falcons. You go to the number 2 and 3 spots. The number 1s have been shut down. Do you think Jamar Chase will have a big game? Do you think the Falcons will win? Do you think they'll cover? Do you think this game will go over a total of 47? What are your thoughts, Tyler?
Yeah, my favorite would be leaning over that total of 47.5. I mean, I can see both these offenses getting up and down the field and putting up points. And as for the side, I'd rather just tease the Bengals down to 1 and have them just win this, or tease them down to a pick and just have them win the game outright. Because I don't want to mess with Atlanta with the points. I mean, we've seen what they've done all year, so they should be able to cover that spread. But I think Cincinnati wins that game.
All right. Brandon McNair is giving you props here, the EuroLeague GOAT himself. What do you think of the Falcons and the Bengals there, Kurt?
So are the Falcons still undefeated against the spread, or they finally lose one?
No, they're 6-0 because they were 5-0 against the spread, and then they won straight up as a 5.5 or 3.5 point dog, depending on when you bet it.
I don't have the analytics to back this up, but I don't think the Falcons' defensive line is going to worry me too much in this situation. So I think the Bengals can cover here. I think the Falcons will kind of do Falcon thing. I think we'll be able to move the ball pretty easily versus the defense, but I think this offense might be overpowered. I think they got in a little rhythm, getting used to that too high safety that they played against the Chiefs. So give me the Bengals to break the streak and cover this spread.
I don't like that, Kurt, because I haven't been doing good going head-to-head against you. Maybe I can turn it around there. One thing about this total, it has gone under in 10 of Atlanta's last 15 games. I wonder if that streak's a little too long, though, because this is a different team this year. Atlanta's also 4-9 straight up in their last 13 against Cincinnati, and they're 1-4 in their last 5 road games. So some trends pointing in your direction there, but I'll take Atlanta. Kurt, you like Cincinnati. DFS-wise, what do we do? This game could go under, and if that's the case, I don't know how much we want to load it up, but how can you not look at Jamar Chase at the top of that wide receiver player pool and not want to at least get some exposure? Drake London's been hit or miss. Kyle Pitts is sending people to therapy with how many feelings he's hurt, but we always have to at least talk about him. What are you thinking when you're building this lineup, Kurt?
I think if you're multi-entering, you're doing yourself a injustice by not having a Burrow Chase stack every single week unless you just absolutely hate the matchup. So, of course, I'm going to have that. The run back, I think Drake London. I prefer Drake London over Pitts. Pitts has hurt me too much. Finally got some life last week, so that was very nice. I did have the bet in, of course, but still negative on Kyle Pitts back lifetime. But, yeah, don't want to go too crazy here because I think I like the under that you said. But Burrow Chase – now, I don't mind Hayden Hurst. I don't have his price in front of me right now because I'm editing my EuroLeague lines, but I don't mind Hayden Hurst as well in this matchup.
So, it's been a disappointment for me, Kurt. And tell me if this is the offensive line or him just not running hard, because I'm thinking it's him not running well. We haven't seen any broken tackles from Joe Mixon.
The broken tackle
running back position.
I think Mixon is a little bit dusty. I mean, he's had a big workload for the past 2 years. I do think it'll come back eventually, but he's just got to break out of this because he's not breaking tackles. He's probably dead last and as far as NFL starters go in broken tackles. But I think the commodity of the offensive line could have a little something to do with that. He's just instead of turning his legs and moving, he's trying to find a hole. So I've never been a running back, but
how do you feel as an offensive lineman when you are getting holes and the guy doesn't break any tackles at all? Is there really some tension there, or do you just keep rolling? How do you approach it?
You're still going to go out there and do your job, but it's a little bit disheartening. You start to get a little bit frustrated. Maybe don't give that extra oomph at the end, but for the most part, they're going to still do their job because they don't want to get fired themselves.
Yeah, I think that's been one of the biggest surprises on that offense. We knew that Burrow and T. Higgins and Chase might have a little bit of issues with him missing training camp with that appendectomy. Hopefully I said that right. But we thought that Mixon was just going to be a stud. We thought that Mixon was just going to be a stud. And I even heard Lombardi saying that P-Ryan should never get any things and Mixon should be on the field every snap. That hasn't looked that way, as Mixon has definitely not been the back that we saw last year. And if they're going to turn around and they're going to make another run in this AFC, they're going to need him to get things together quick. So I think he could be a huge key to this game. And I wouldn't be surprised, Kurt, if one of these weeks he just breaks the slate at 3% ownership and finds everything. But we'll be opposite on this game. You've got bragging rights so far, but it is a long season. Hopefully I can come back, and hopefully it will start with this game with the Falcons covering the spread. Another 6.5 point spread. The Cleveland Browns plus 6.5 in Baltimore taking on the Ravens. Total of 46 plus 242 on the money line for the Cleveland Browns. Tyler, this is an interesting game. The Browns couldn't have looked any worse against the New England Patriots. And then, of course, the Ravens had that tough loss to the Giants where I thought most of the game they were not only win, but cover the spread. They have had problems holding on to leads all season. The question is Cleveland good enough to even take advantage of the fact that this defense cannot put 4 quarters of football together? Browns, Ravens, Tyler, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to side with the Ravens here. I don't think that Browns offense is going to be able to come back and win. I mean, you see it last week. Once Brissett gets behind, they can't use Chubb to run the ball. That offense kind of stalls out tremendously. So I could see the Ravens getting out to it, an early lead here and just taking this game over and winning it. I'm not going to lay the 6.5, though. Just tease it down to a 0.5 point. Then all you do is need them to win. And if they do look like they're going to blow that game, they end up winning it by a short number, you still win.
Yeah, I could see why you want to do the tease there. Cleveland 1-4 straight up in their last 5 games against Baltimore. This team's going over as well, dude. We talked about this defense. It's not the same as it was when you were touting this team last year, Tyler, and really high on this team. This defense is taking a step back, and it showed in the way this game is going over the total over in 5 of the last 6 games for this Cleveland team. So also Cleveland 2-12 in their last 14 games when playing on the road against Baltimore. This has been a tough matchup for the Brownies. I don't know if anyone's still bitter about that move, right? Because this Ravens team actually used to be the Browns, and I know they moved in the middle of the night, and they did that before you guys were born. But there was some residual animosity, but Cleveland has not been able to take advantage of it. Kurt, what are your thoughts on this one?
I think it might be a stay away for me. I like the over, but as far as picking a side, might be a stay away. I don't like really betting against this Browns team. I think they're really solid. Divisional game feels a little trappy either way. So give me the over, and I think there will be some DFS options, but you need to monitor the Dobbins news. If he's out, I mean, Browns are like almost dead last in rushing defense, DVOA. So Kenyon Drake looked good last week.
He looked good last week.
He scored like a rush touchdown without getting touched. Gus Edwards, I think, is close to coming back. Don't know if it's this week, but either way, I want to attack this game with Drake if he's fully healthy and the other guys are out.
Should I spend up for Lamar?
I don't mind. I mean, like I said, like with Burrow and Chase, you're always going to have the Lamar. I mean, Lamar's going to be able to rush. Like he's going to be able to run. He might get 100 yards here very easily. So, maybe a naked sack with Lamar this week. Even though,
what do you mean by that?
They don't play any of the receivers or the running backs.
And they have like 400 yards rushing and just dominate the Browns on the ground. Don't even give chance for Myles Garrett and that pass rush to get home. They just run it down the throat all game.
So rather than stack Jackson with the receiver, you're stacking him with Drake?
Go do that. I could definitely see that. I mean, no one's going to do it. I feel like there's a scenario where they just run the ball the entire game right on their throats.
There's a scenario on the other side too where they run the ball. Nick Chubb, we got to look to him, right, Kurt?
What's his price this week? Because he's been a little bit too high for me, and he's splitting the backfield. I'm not paying that much for a guy who's splitting the backfield. I don't care how good I think he is.
Really? He has the most rushing yards in the NFL.
Yeah, and I'm going to keep fading him. Last week it worked out fine. I had him week 1 when he was like underpriced. I faded ever since. It's hurt me twice, but it's all. So I'm like 500 with fading or playing Nick Chubb.
All right. Well, let's just look here.
Henry. I'd rather take Derrick Henry
at 8,200. Nick Chubb's 8,000. Yeah,
no, he's not splitting the backfield. It's all Henry.
Yeah, I guess you're right. And you got Saquon sitting there at 7,900.
Yeah,
you'd probably rather have Saquon than Chubb.
For sure. I'm taking all of them over Chubb because they're backfield.
Even Taylor.
I think Deion Jackson might have worked his way up to a little bit of a role there in Indy. So, no, give me Chubb in that scenario. But everyone else, give me the guys who it's their backfield. You don't have to worry about fucking Kareem Hunt coming in and no, it's their backfield. And
does that apply to Aaron Jones at 76?
I don't play Aaron Jones either. But
he's sharing the backfield. Okay.
He's sharing it a lot less. If you look at the snap counts the past couple of weeks, Jones is starting to tick up. And Big Boy is starting to go down a little bit. God, I'm sick right now. I have no memory at all, guys. I am washed.
That's fine. We appreciate you showing up and working through the illness.
Flu game.
And if you ship, this is going to be the Jordan flu game, and you got to give us the little on the way out. And at this running back options, I can see why you're moving away from Chubb. Fournette at 7,700 against the terrible Carolina Panthers team. also has to be considered. Boy, I love Nick Chubb as a runner, and it's just as a fantasy back. It's so weird how fantasy works, because if I was building my team of all these players, I think I'd want Nick Chubb. I mean, I think just taking handoffs, he's the best running back in the NFL.
For sure, but they keep wanting to give Hunt. Like, they should have traded Hunt. If they traded Hunt, I would play Nick Chubb literally every single week.
Yeah. All right.
Period.
Anything more from this game, Tyler?
No, I ain't got much more on that one.
All right. That should be a fun one. I think the odds makers did a good job on this line. I think you can make great arguments on both sides. I'm with Kurt, though. If I'm betting this game, I'm not going to take a side. I'm going to take the total of 46. And, if I'm getting involved on this, Tyler had it right. Let's just tease this down. -0.5. I am fine with that. And, hey, I teased it a little bit with Fournette. This line's out to 13 against the Carolina Panthers. The idea is that they were going to have a new coach bump. It would have been last week, right? And we didn't see anything. In fact, the new coach got into it with Robbie Anderson and then traded him away. Then they traded away Christian McCaffrey last night. So that was a fun little news to get, right, as I'm watching the Clippers and the Lakers here. Interesting. Boy, NFC West hates draft picks, but we'll get into that a little later. Let's break down this game right now. Tyler, this totals, this moved out to 13. The old man in me reflexively just wants to take the divisional points at home. But this Carolina Panthers team might be the worst team in the NFL, I'd say, arguably. How do we approach this game? How do we approach these line moves? What are your thoughts right here?
I'm going to go with something we haven't done this year, spread, and I'm going to go with a good old just pass. I ain't betting any money on this game. I wouldn't bet free money on this game. There's no way I'm taking the Bucs. There's no way I'm taking Carolina. Scroll right past the game. You got a ton of other games to bet on this weekend.
And that's fine, because we're trying to move quickly today. So respect there just for being honest. Some quick trends here before I throw it to you, Kurt. Tampa, 1-4 ATS in their last 5 games, and they're under in 5 of their last 6 games. What are your thoughts on this game, Kurt? How do we approach this? There's got to be value for the running back, right? Running back.
They've been a good job of pricing these backup running backs up, so I'm actually not sure if he is or not. So that's something to monitor. For multiple reasons, I'm going to skip this game. Part because I don't like it. The spread's too big. The under's terrible. There's no real DFS option. I'm not sure what Chubb is priced at. If he's below 6K, I'm interested. But this Bucs team kind of sells out to stop the run. I imagine they'll do it again today.
So are you fine, like on a full fade of this game, just take it out of your player pool when you're building lineups?
Oh, yeah. Because Carolina's defense, I respect their secondary.
I would take the Carolina guys out. I maybe wouldn't take the Tampa guys out. This could be a game where they finally throw 4 touchdowns. They get on the board. The offense gets rolling.
It could be a game where they get up by 2 touchdowns and just run the clock out, though.
Yeah, they could do that also. Yeah. They could be also looking at it just to get their offense rolling, and they just keep going at them.
Yeah. Our guy, JC Zargo, says last 3 weeks, McCaffrey's had 16 yards or less. Hasn't been much of a contributor anyways. And I would say he's at 69, 54, and 27. I would say that has to do with the scheme. They're trying to run him up the middle like he's Nick Chubb, and he's not. He's an explosive guy that needs space like Austin Eckler. He's going to do so great under Shanahan. And they got to be happy with the haul that they got draft picks wise. But McCaffrey's probably got to be happy to be with a coach who plays 21st century football. So we're fading this game altogether. I'm completely fine with that. And I'm fascinated by this next game. The Green Bay Packers are now -4.5 in Washington taking on the Commanders. And every week, Tyler, we say, hey, this Green Bay team's got to come around. This is the week they get it. Rodgers is doing it. And this team just is not coming around. They just lost to the Jets. Now they head to Washington to take on a Commanders team that's absolutely terrible. But I'll tell you what, Carson Wentz is not that popular in the locker room from what I've heard. Obviously, I haven't been in the locker room. Maybe they get a little bump with Heineke out there. I don't really know how to approach this one because I think this is a fascinating game. I don't know if I necessarily want to bet it. Just a couple trends. Green Bay 2-6 ATS in their last 8 games. Total's gone under in 5 of Green Bay's last 7 games. Also should be noted, Green Bay, one of the worst teams against the run. Maybe the Commanders finally get things going and play Ron Rivera-style football. Man, it seems like the Commanders are a sharp pick here. But is this the week that Green Bay turns it around? What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, I think it is the week they turn it around, but I'm not sure they're really all that of a good team. I just think Washington's one of the worst. They don't have an offensive line. I don't trust their running backs to beat up on this Green Bay defense. They should be able to just hound Heineke, slow the receivers down with their secondary. And on the offensive side, they should be able to put up enough offense against this team to score 24 to 27 points. So give me Green Bay here. And there was a special listed on FanDuel. It was Green Bay to win the game, most rushing yards, most receiving yards. They're getting that at plus 330. I think if they beat this team spread, I think they just house them and just walk right over top of them. So I'm going to take that plus 330.
All right. Excellent call there. What's your thoughts, Kurt?
I like the over in this game. I'll take Green Bay to cover by a touchdown and the over. I think Washington can score points. Green Bay secondary has been really underwhelming. I had kind of high hopes for them. They've not been terrible, but they've been a little underwhelming for me. So I think Washington will be able to move the ball. So give me the over, which is crazy because there's been so many unders this year. But I am on a couple of the overs. And Green Bay, I'm going to alt it up to 6.5 on the road. They're going to come here to DC and whip their ass.
All right. Yeah. And couldn't happen to a better guy, owner Daniel Snyder. Richie, thank you. Richie, he always does good. First of all, he always reminds me to tell everyone, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, head on over to runpuresports.com for all the best in DFS and gambling information. But Richie, this was on my notes and I didn't read it. I got up a little late today, a little bit flustered, but we're doing it here. But Terry McLaurin looked excellent under Heineke. Carson Wentz seemed to forget that he exists. We got to think that he gets more targets because they already have that chemistry there. Terry McLaurin, an interesting option in DFS and for props. What do you think, Kurt?
I don't hate a Heineke, Cole Tucker, Terry stack with a Green Bay running back run back.
Wait. Say that one more time.
Taylor Heineke, 5K. Cole Tucker, 2,500.
Who's Cole Tucker?
They're tight end.
He's got to be the tight end.
Okay.
Now, Terry didn't, towards the end of that stint with Heineke, he didn't do great, but he's 5,900. I'm willing to kind of take that narrative that he's going to bounce back big. And then running back with Green Bay running back, like maybe Aaron Jones. And
you just said you don't like playing Aaron Jones.
I don't, but this is a full game stack.
Okay.
And I got to have a run back, and I'm not going to try to pick the receivers in this scenario that I would be Washington coming from behind. So, AJ Dillon, that's his name. Let me see what Dillon's price is. I don't like playing him. The snaps are really concerning, but I need a run back because this narrative that would be.
You don't want to run it back with Dobbs or Watson instead?
Because that would be like a full.
I don't even think Watson's playing.
Okay.
Yeah, he was out west. But that wouldn't fit the narrative.
Wouldn't that make Dobbs more? Or
I just think that this scenario, Green Bay gets up 20 fast, and then Washington's working their way back. Green Bay's just running the ball.
Okay. There you go. The Washington Green Bay stack was not something I expected to hear on Talking Touchdowns, brought to you by runpuresports.com. Any more thoughts on this game before we move on?
No, that's it for me.
All right, let's move to the afternoon. The New York Jets pick 'em against the Denver Broncos in a game with a total of 38. Boy, talk about, a tale of two cities here, right? The best of times and the worst of times. The Jets have absolutely nailed their draft picks. They've come out. They're getting wins. They're getting improbable wins. They're getting dominating wins, including their win over Green Bay last week. Sauce Gardner is legit. Breece Hall, Rookie of the Year. I mean, they got Defensive Rookie of the Year maybe and Offensive Rookie of the Year. Jets 4-1 ATS over their last 5. The total's gone over in 13 of the Jets' last 20 games. Let's see how the Jets continue here. Denver has just been a disaster, 3-7 against the spread. They've also gone under in 5 of Denver's last 6 games here. Tyler, this Denver team is looking really bad, and every single teammate of Russell Wilson's is coming out of the woodwork to pile on and basically just, talk about this guy and how they didn't like playing with him. And, he's aloof. He's out of touch. He's also 34 years old, which I think has a lot more to do with his attitude. I think you can get away with being a diva when you're out there balling. Unfortunately, he's no longer doing it. He's a 34-year-old mobile quarterback that's fighting through injuries, and he seems to have lost a little pop on his arm. Also seems a little shaky back there, not necessarily making the best decisions. Is that because he's just not seeing over the line? He's trying to play in the pocket because it feels like Hackett did not design enough plays that fit to Russell Wilson's strength. That is, when you're shorter, you got to get on the move. Let's get these guys rolling out, moving in the pocket. It feels like he's trying to make Russell play the way that Aaron Rodgers plays. Aaron Rodgers is a big dude with a cannon. He can sit in the pocket and pick you apart throwing darts. I wouldn't be doing that with Russ. It seems like a failure all around from the quarterback and the head coach. But our guy JJ, Uncle Dunkle, he loves to buy low. The question is, when is the bottom, right? You don't want to buy halfway down. You want to buy at the bottom of that dip. How do we approach this Broncos game? Because right now they feel unbettable. Sometimes those are the toughest bets to make. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to side with Denver here. I know it's rough, but the Jets, after going to Green Bay, picking up the win in Lambeau, now they're going to have to travel to Denver and play there. Denver's defense is still really good. Mind you, the offense sucks. So it's like they're going to put pressure on Zach Wilson. That run game Breece Hall had all last week, I don't think works against Denver. So it's like, where's their offense really come from? You're going to make Zach Wilson drop back against his pass rush in these corners. He's known for turning over the ball. He could throw a couple picks in this one that could be costly. And this could just be an ugly game, similar to Monday night against the Chargers spread, where it's just field goals and like 2 touchdowns, and they get out of here with like a 17-16 win. So I'm going to side with the Broncos just to win this game outright.
That's a brave call. Bad news for all the mothers in Denver. If that turns out to be true, Zach Wilson might be in mourning. I don't know, man. He made a strong case. I don't think I'm still ready to hit submit on that bet. Kurt, how do we approach this one? Kurt, you're muted.
Sorry, I keep having a cough, so I got to mute myself. I think this is super trappy. They just went into Lambeau and won. I feel like everyone's going to be like, oh, the Broncos team sucks. Jets coming off a big win. I think the Broncos cover here. It feels gross. I hate watching them as much as everyone else, but I think what Tyler said is going to be a nasty game. The Broncos come out on top late. Maybe a low-scoring game. Love the under here. Even the 38.5, I don't really bet those unders, but whew, terrible game. I do like, even though I don't like the over-under, I do like Latavius Murray to score plus 225. I know they said Melvin Gordon's going to start this week, but like they seem to love just jamming Murray right up the middle. So give me Murray plus 225 to score.
Everything about the way that Hackett's handled it, and Gordon doesn't seem like the type that he's just going to be a good soldier, right, and do whatever's best for the team. He's obviously disgruntled about not getting those carries. You have a aloof quarterback that nobody likes, and then you got a disgruntled running back. You got a first-time head coach who seems to have no idea what he's doing. Yeah, it's a tough spot. So I wish you guys luck there. Because I just can't do it, man. I just can't bet Denver. I'm fine staying away from the Jets. Total of 38, though, Tyler. Total of 38. Did we go under? What was your little prediction? 18, 17, 19,
17, 16, but there's no way now I'm clicking on an under 39.5.
Okay, I don't know. I might be okay with that. I think if you're talking about you don't want to bet this game. If I have to bet the game, I would take the under. What do you think, Kurt?
Yeah, I think the Denver defense wins this game. I don't care how bad Hackett is with the time in. I think the defense wins this game for them.
All right. You guys loving that Denver defense. Anything else from a DFS perspective, Kurt? I like it to go under. Can I fade this game altogether? Can I just cross it off the list? I mean, there's so much stuff for us to go over.
I think you have to. If anyone has the balls and you lose because someone goes off in this game, get them next week.
So Breece Hall has been a guy that's just been absolutely fantastic. 6,200, but that's a tough matchup. Do I take him out this week of the player pool? Because I've been playing him a lot. Was thinking, hey, maybe this is the week that I jump off that train.
I'll tell you what, if you build on Sunday, go ahead and go in now and take everyone off this game. Save you like 2 minutes come Sunday. Take everyone out.
All right. He says fade the game, and I'm fine with that. Let's talk about my favorite team, the Las Vegas Raiders, coming off a bye, lane 7 to the Houston Texans. Total of 46 plus 245 for the Texans on the money line. Tyler, you know the Raiders have hurt my feelings. I can't think about this team clearly right now. I had high expectations for this team, and they've completely dashed and disappointed me time after time. Will they disappoint me again this week, Tyler? What are your thoughts here on the Texans and the Raiders? Real quick, the Houston Texans are 6-2-1 ATS in their last 9 games. Raiders 2-4 against the spread in the last 6. Not a good season for the Raiders, either in the win column or against the spread. Texans going to cover here. I think they might have problems stopping that guy, Dameon Pierce.
I think it's going to be the other way around. I think Houston's going to have a lot of trouble stopping Josh Jacobs. They're the worst rush defense in the league. Okay. I think the dude just houses his team. We've seen the Raiders, when he's running the ball, they just keep feeding him the ball. So he's going to see it a ton here. Adams will light up these corners, and they also have Renfro back. Waller's probably going to sit. So, I mean, Carr can condense the target share to just those 2 guys, and they just run Josh Jacobs down their throat. So, I mean, I think they win. I think they cover. Just to be more comfortable, tease it down to 1 for me.
Kurt, Jacobs, 6,500. Pierce, 6,400. Who would you rather have?
Give me Jacobs for sure.
Okay.
I like what I've seen. I mean, it's about time that he actually gets like a giant work. I feel like they always kind of split it with him, but they finally committed to making him the absolute bell cow. He's playing well. like Tyler said, worst rushing defense. Give me Jacobs. I also think the play action to a little deep shot to Adams. We've seen them almost connect a couple times last week. I love Adams this week. There's not many paid receivers this week, so everyone will flock to Adams. I have no issue with that. I'll play the chalk Adams.
Yeah, favorites always tough off a bye. When you're playing teams off the bye, the underdogs perform much better against the spread.
I don't know how I feel about the laying 7.
7 for this team. I mean, we're talking about the Texas defense being bad. The Raiders defense is much better.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I would bet that. I don't like either of these. I don't like the over under or either. I'd rather just like it for a DFS target.
Okay, and that's fine with that as well. Richie Small says the Jacobs, Adams, anytime TD and Raiders win. What do you think of that one, Tyler? Safer than laying 7, right?
That's definitely a play. I love
safer than laying 7. So we appreciate that, Richie. And like he says, smash that like button as we continue to smash through this Sunday slate. Go ahead, Kurt.
Can you do? I don't know if they have this out there, but can you do Adams and Jacobs to score and the Raiders to win? Because I think it's going to be I think the whole workload is going to be so fixated on like those 3 guys.
You could do it as like a same game parlay. They're not going to have it listed.
The odds are worse though. I want the combo.
Yeah, it's the only thing. You'd have to build it on your own. I'll build it real quick and see what it pays out.
Because they always have too much juice on that. So
while you build it, I'm going to go ahead and do the preamble for this game. The Kansas City. This is an exciting game. This is the best game of the afternoon slate. The Kansas City Chiefs coming off a loss to the Buffalo Bills. Tough loss for that team. Now they have to head to San Francisco to take on a 49ers team who is also coming off a loss. They did not play half their team against the Atlanta Falcons, and they came up short. Just my quick thoughts on this one. You have to wait on this one. I bet it early last week, and I hated it because then I'm sitting there with the dead ticket when Bosa is ruled out. So I want to see what Bosa's status is on this game but if Bosa's out, I mean, I'm smashing this KC -2. I don't care that they added McCaffrey. They're going to need to get stops against the Kansas City team. And if they can't get pressure, I think Mahomes is going to pick them apart. Mahomes coming off a loss has been excellent in his career. Just so good against the spread after a loss. The game has gone over in 10 of Kansas City's last 14 games. Chiefs haven't been very good against the spread, but they're usually laying 6, 7. They're only laying 2 here. San Francisco is 8-3 against the spread in their last 2 games, but I don't know. You pretty much got to bet them to win. I mean, I don't think this game's going to land on 1 or 2. I like the Chiefs, but I'm not betting it till I get that Bosa news. What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, I think with or without Bosa, the Chiefs are covering this game.
Okay.
I mean, after the 2 games they just had, they couldn't cover against the Raiders. They had to come back and win. Then they lose the Bills games close. I think you get a nice effort out of this offense right here. I think they come out, they beat up on this defense, who have gotten bitten by the injury bug a lot these last couple of weeks. They lost Mosley to start.
These last couple of years.
That too, but yeah, I'm just talking about this season in general.
Yeah, but I mean, it just seems like
they're not the same defense they were the first couple of weeks. So that big bad unit we were always talking about, I don't think it's as bad as it was just right now. And even with CMC on the offense, I don't think he's going to be much of a factor on about 4 days' notice. So give me the Chiefs here spread.
Yeah, what do you think? How do we approach this game with McCaffrey in there? I know McCaffrey's probably going to end up being a beast that we expected DFS-wise, but is it a little too soon to go to him right away? What do you think, Kurt?
First off, I'm still waiting on my flowers for the Chiefs game last week. We're not going to get them. Do I not get those? Can I get my roses?
You did. You were right again. Like I did mention that you haven't beat me head to head. I took the Chiefs last week, and boy, I mean that was a great pick by you.
Did you think you were winning with only 24 points though?
No.
Probably not. Yeah.
I thought I was winning when we got the ball back with a minute to go. So
yeah,
credit to the Bills for getting that pressure. Von Miller, I know the guy gets the credit for the interception, but you should give interception to Von Miller, right? You should get half an interception there, because if he doesn't get in there, I don't think that he's able to jump that route. That little extra time allowed him to jump that route, and that was the difference in the game. So you give you your flowers there, but how do we approach the Chiefs coming off the loss?
So I'm still concerned about, even with Juju scoring last week, I'm still a little bit concerned about this wide receiver group, but I think they rally troops and get a win here. I think they run the ball a little bit better. As far as the McCaffrey situation goes, I'm not saying that he's going to be like low on snaps. He might come in and get a lot of snaps, but this Kyle Shanahan running scheme is very, very complex. They got the zone going. They got,
but that's for guard. A lineman, right? A running back just hits the hole, right?
No, it's not. It's like poetry in motion. because you don't have a man. You take a right step, and then you get the first guy that crosses your face. The running back he's never ran behind you. He doesn't know if he's going to take your guy this way or if you're just going to turn him. He has no idea. There we go. Sorry, in the picture. He has no idea what you're going to do. He has no chemistry with this offensive line.
On this. Dang it, I messed that up.
Well, you kicked him off the show.
Yeah, if you do that one more time, Kurt. This is badass.
You're reading a guy. If you think you have enough momentum to just take him, you'll push him this way and take him to the sidelines. If you don't think you can get that, if he has no momentum, he's just trying to stop you, you'll turn him, push and pull, and you'll just seal off this side, and the running back will run behind you. You don't know where the hole will be. Until all these guys kind of get sealed off, you don't know where the hole is going to be. So, like, the chemistry with the offensive line will take a second. McCaffrey's so good it might not matter because I've seen videos when he was like 6 years old reacting to guys blocking and just kind of going in the hole. So it might not be an issue for him, but that's enough for me to say, you know what? I think they're going to put him out there, and it may not be that much success right away. So give me the Chiefs.
All right, you're on the Chiefs.
How do you just like about that him finding the holes and everything and getting used to this offensive line? How do you think it affects with this how this system runs, where the whole line shifts at once at certain points? Like that's not a lot of teams do that, so that's got to be a big curveball to him at first.
At first, yes, but he's such a naturally good runner. I think the first game will be like kind of getting a feel for it. It might even happen mid-game. You might see a switch just flip like that, and it's like, holy shit, he's hitting the right hole every time. He's just bursting. This is the perfect scheme for him if he can just stay healthy, because he is just such a great natural runner. It won't be in between the tackles necessarily because the tackles are getting out and running. It's going to be poetry in motion once it's all lined up. I don't think it'll be this week though, but I'm excited to watch it. Just hope he stays healthy.
Would you use him as a bell cow here? Because I wouldn't.
I
would leave Jeff.
You don't need
Wilson.
to when you have Debo coming out of the backfield as well, and those other running backs
you just leave Jeff Wilson as the main between the tackles running back.
Yeah.
You move McCaffrey in and out of the slot and work the double backfield spot with him and Wilson. Now you don't know where the ball's going. You motion Debo across the front. You don't know if he's getting a little pitch pass if you're handing it off to one of these two guys, or if Ayuk or Kittle's going down the field. So this offense is going to be very tough to cover now, and they were already hard to cover.
Carolina Panthers offensive coordinator Bob McAdoo is going to be giving that shocked Pikachu face when he sees how to use him correctly. Another great point here by Richie says, remember when Trent Williams comes back, he will explode.
What, 3 weeks away?
Right. We are moving along.
I heard he might play today or this week.
Wow. Hell yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to keep an eye on that. This game, we need some injury news, but I can't wait to watch it. It could be just as fun as that Chiefs-Bills game. I mean, I know it's not as high profile, but they're two Super Bowl contenders facing off. I can't wait to watch this one. Another one that I can't wait to watch just because I like the Seahawks and I like Pete Carroll, but the whole world likes the Seahawks, Tyler, as this line has moved from +6.5 to +5. Money coming in on the Seahawks, and I can see why. The Chargers, right, have had problems this year, especially covering spreads. They're beat up. They didn't really look good till they take J.C. Jackson out of the lineup. Do they put him back in the lineup? Do they just run with who's better? How do they approach that? So they have some things going on there from a coaching perspective. I like the Seahawks, but I'm late to the party on this line. Let's just analyze it at the +5 that it's sitting at now, Tyler. What do we do? I still lean towards Seattle, but I'm just pissed that I lost that value.
Yeah, I'm on the other side of you here. Give me the Chargers at this -5.
All right, let's hear why.
Even with the banged up offensive line, they might get Keenan Allen back finally. So that could help out here. But it's like, even if Seattle scores a ton of points, they're not going to play much defense here against the Chargers. They're also not going to make this offensive line pay for how banged up they are and get to Herbert. So he's going to have time to throw. These corners aren't good, so he's just going to tear them up. That over 50.5, I like the over there. And I can see this Chargers team hanging 40 points right here spread. Herbert has that first big game where he throws like 450, 4 to 5 touchdowns, and everyone's calling him the quarterback they thought he was going to be at the beginning of the year because he's yet to really show that this year. And I think this is that game where he finally does it.
Yeah, maybe the over is the best way to approach it. Over's gone 8 of 12 in Seattle's last 12 games. Seattle 4-2 against the spread in their last 6 games against the Chargers, and 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 games against LA in their stadium. Chargers are 4-2 against the spread so far this season. So that's going to be interesting. Once again, these trends love the over. Chargers gone over 9 of their last 12 games. Kurt, how do we approach this one?
I don't like anything. Like I said, the 5-point line, it's a little bit trappy. I know that Seahawks have been like covering this year pretty decently. I don't know what their record is, but it feels like they've been staying in games. And I don't like the way that betting the over on a 15.5 point game when Geno Smith is a quarterback, no matter how good he's been this year.
Dude, Geno, like by statistics, is like one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
He's
like top 5 quarterback.
And not just statistically, like he's looked good. Some of the throws he's made is like, wow, but still.
He's jumping dimes.
I would just rather play at DFS and then hope it goes over rather than risk it and bet the over under here.
Should we stack this game? Because I love the over here.
I feel like we kind of got trapped last week going with Arizona, but
the Chargers shouldn't we go back to it? Don't you think people will stay away?
The Chargers are a much more efficient offense, and Herbert is miles and miles better than Kyler Murray. So in that case, I really do hope the Seahawks stacks kind of have a bad taste in people's mouths because I'll go right back to it here.
Yeah, I'm going back to a Seahawks stack as well. I was disappointed.
How different would it be, Kurt, if you played most of this, like, because say this is just complete shootout. You play most of the Seattle skill guys like the Walkers, the DKs, and the Lockets, and you just play Herbert and Eckler on the other side because you know he's just going to spread the ball out.
Oh, yeah, especially Keenan Allen's back because the Palmer's
you don't play the Palmers, you don't play the Carters, you don't play the Everetts. You just go right to the main 2 guys on that side.
Because they got Parham there too. I actually love that because Parham Everett's looked so good, but Parham looked good last week. Palmer deserves his snaps. Freaking Guyton Carter's still going to be getting some snaps. I don't know if is Guyton still on the team. I used to love that guy.
I think he's out for the year.
Oh, that sucks. But Carter's still there. Michael Bandy, the white guy, I loved him in preseason. But they're just going to spread the. I wouldn't be surprised if Brandy got a touchdown. Like I love that. Just stack those 2.
But did you even play him by himself? Say he does throw the 454 touchdowns and one guy catches each of them. It's like none of those guys really get in there, and he's the only guy that gets there.
I think you for sure can.
Who do I run it back with? Let's say I got Herbert Eckler on one side, Lockett, Metcalf. I know it's every week, right? Every week we have this conversation, but who would you rather have there?
Who do I prefer?
Yeah, I like Metcalf.
I think Lockett let a lot of people down last week, so give me Lockett. I usually also prefer Metcalf, but I think a lot of people have a sour taste.
Lockett gets all the targets too. Like if DK's not breaking those big plays, he ain't doing nothing.
Can I put both in there?
You probably can.
Just stupid.
Yeah, I mean they're not passing the D freaking Eskridge. They're only passing.
It's gonna be 3 guys for them. It's gonna be Kenneth Walker. It's gonna be DK. And it's gonna be Tyler Lockett.
All right.
And Derwin James is gonna. I'm pretty sure he covers those tight ends a lot. So like, if he takes away those tight ends, filled down the outside.
I love it. Give me the over here. Let's stack that game. Let's have some fun. Let's do the night game. Pittsburgh Steelers +7 against the Miami Dolphins. 45.5 +260. What? You know the Fighting Tomlins.
I gotta
coming
stop
off a win.
I gotta stop you right there, Spread, because we haven't done a Sunday night game at all on these shows all year. Here comes Pittsburgh's into the time slot, and you jumped right to it.
Coming off a win, how could you not want to talk about this inspiring team?
I told you the Steelers were going to beat the Bucks. You thought I was crazy.
That game made no sense.
I told you at the beginning of the year.
Can they do it again?
That game didn't make any sense to the point there were pigeons on the field eating the grass mid-game.
That made no sense.
All right, JC likes Tua here in that showdown slate. So I take it you're laying the points with the Dolphins there, Tyler?
Yeah. I mean, if you're not that comfortable with teasing down to 1, but the team's in dire need of a win if they want to keep their playoffs hopes alive. We talked last week about this Steelers secondary, and Tampa wasn't able to take advantage of it. If Tampa couldn't take advantage of it with 4 giant receivers, the 2 guys with track stars on the outside who just were able to put up 300-plus yards with 2 different quarterbacks at the helm, now they're going to get their main guy back. They're going to house this team, Spread. I think they're going to bring them back down to earth, but I'm going to tease it down to 1 because I'm not getting bit in the ass by the Steeler team.
Yeah, I mean, I think, as much as I love Pittsburgh, I think the better play is to take the under. Interesting trends here. Pittsburgh 1-4 against the spread in the last 5 against Miami, but 7-2 straight up, which means these games have been close. Miami's now 10-5 against the spread in their last 15. Remember how strong they finished last season. But hey, as much as we talk about McDaniels, they haven't put up a lot of points. The total's gone under in 11 of the Miami's last 16 games, as well as we know these primetime games have been going under. Kurt, you called the Steelers last week. Are you ready to do it again? Are you pointing straight to center field? Can my Fighting Tomlins get it done again?
I'm not going to sit here and act like I have any idea who's going to be playing quarterback for the Dolphins this week. So can someone tell me?
It's going to be
Tua.
It's Tua?
They said he's cleared. I'm pretty sure he's already announced in, like, unless something drastic happens, he's going to be the guy.
He was cleared last week.
They just don't want to put him in there.
You know what? Give me the over on this game. Give me the freaking over. I think
we're going head-to-head again.
Two is back. Pickett can sling it. Pickens is going to score a touchdown. Steelers probably get routed. But, yeah, Tua coming back is enough for me to take the over on this game because I like what Pickett – is Pickett healthy? God, I don't even know that.
Yeah, they announced him to start.
Okay, yes. Give me the over. I know no one's gonna. I actually hope it gets bet down. Do you guys think that's possible?
Yes, because every game's been going under on primetime except for last night.
So should I wait and do that? I know no one ever does this, but should I wait and do that bet like Sunday night?
I'd wait.
No. Because public money always comes in on the over. I would do it like Sunday morning. I wouldn't let the public money.
Even with every Twitter page tweeting out about all these primetime unders left and right, you don't think guys are just gonna?
It doesn't matter, dude. People not on Twitter bet. You know, I mean, there's people who just they you know how drunk they are by the time that game kicks off.
Yeah,
they want to see points. So I would do it sometime early on Sunday to go ahead and get on that. All right, gosh, we're not going. We got to do this quick. It's time for the best bets. But Kurt, before we do that, I just wanted to know who you're looking at, like main targets there for the Sunday slate.
Sunday night?
No, just for the full Sunday slate. Throw Sunday night out.
Derrick Henry. That's my one call.
All right. Who's your main? Who would be like your play of the day, Tyler, for that Sunday?
Give me Jamar Chase inside the dome again.
All right, Jamar Chase. Now let's
no, change that. Give me Josh Jacobs. He's scoring 2 touchdowns. He's clearing 100 yards against that Houston defense.
Oh, Josh Jacobs. That's funny. I might run it back with Dameon Pierce. We'll see who gets better.
He won a hoop a milli. He's going to go off again this week.
All right. I'd love to see it. Let's talk about your best bet. Tyler, side total prop. What do you got?
Go right back to me. It's going to be ugly and uncomfortable spread. Give me Denver.
That's your best bet?
Yep.
Bold. It's like the most interesting man in the world style bold. Kurt, can you come up with a hotter take than that? What do you got for the best bet?
Derrick Henry scored 2 tutters.
And wow, what's the comeback on that? How much are you going to get paid out on that?
That's
like plus 310.
Plus 310. I'll take that, baby. It's coming.
All right. My best bet for the day. Which total did I love? Which game did I love going over? Oh, Seahawks Chargers over 50. Give me the over there. That's the one that I'm going to go ahead and stack up. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. We got about 2 minutes till we go live here on the Run Pure Sports YouTube channel. That's right. Make sure you're subscribed. And hey, if you stuck with us through 58 minutes, you can stick with us and give us that thumbs up. If you're not already a member, head on over to runpuresports.com. If you are a member, check out the NFL Bets playbook. Go ahead and give us some feedback. We're doing detailed game notes. We give you a score projection. We give you totals, sides, what we're betting. So let's say there's a game that we weren't really strong on, but you're going to attend it or you're going to watch it with your buddies. You know which way we're leaning. Plenty of information. Tyler and I have been working hard on it. We're real proud of it. So make sure you check that out. Give us the thumbs up. And Kurt, do you have words of wisdom before we get out of here?
That's it. Let's get it. I'm almost halfway through the year, baby.
Kurt, now that I've seen that, you're going to have to give an offensive line demonstration almost every single week.
I love it.
That might have been the highlight of the show today. So, thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll be back in about 1 minute. Until then, run pure.